You got to be great at understanding there is no such thing as rejection. You got to be great at getting on the phones and creating energy and momentum. Selling is about energy and momentum. It's about the transfer of confidence. Because it's mostly driven by one thing, feelings. And feelings are just emotions, and emotions can be influenced. Everybody follow me here? So I was hearing these mamas and daddies that would say, my daughter has a lot of potential, she just needs this. And I would ask this real hard question. I'd say, well, let me ask you a question. Is your daughter watching you reach your potential? And that's when the mamas and daddies would do what? They'd be like, oh, coach, I didn't know you was going to coach me. And I'm like, is it not true that our kids need to see us reaching our potential? Yes or no? Yes. We don't need to tell our kids, and I have a 5-year-old daughter, it's not fair for me to tell my daughter she has potential if she's not seeing her daddy reach his. She needs to see me driving, pushing, striving, dreaming, growing. You understand what I'm saying? It's hypocritical for me to tell my daughter she's got potential, but she don't see me reaching mine. So what I'm telling you is around this time, I start winning a lot of games, and people were asking me, how are you winning games? And I said, I don't have time to tell you how we're doing it. I just know we're building, we got our own little greatness factory, and we're pumping out winners here. And if I just start writing books on it, I'll write about how I do it. So I wrote a little book at 25, and that book, people began to call me. State Farm, National Health Care. And they all said the same thing. Coach, we got a lot of good people, and they got a lot of what? No issues. Y'all got to pay attention here. We move fast. But they would say, man, we got a lot of good people. They just need a few things. Ruby, what did they tell me they needed? Structure, guidance, discipline. And you know what? They would say they just need some confidence. And I'd say, I'll be right over. And I'd go over and speak to these people. And then they started asking me, will you come back? Will you come back and coach our people? And I'm like, no, I'm trying to win a championship. I'm coaching kids. I love coaching kids. And I spoke at Dell Computers in Nashville, and they said, look, we really want you to come back and coach this group. And I'm like, I'm not interested. I love coaching kids, winning championships, I ain't interested. Okay? And he said, okay, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm telling you, thank you for buying my book. Thank you for inviting me. Had a great time with your adults. I'm out of here, right? And he reached in his pocket and pulled out an envelope, and he said, well, here's your check for speaking to our people. And I opened it up. And guess what I saw on the inside of that? It was more in an hour than I made in a month of coaching at Riverdale. And you know what I said then? I'll be back every 15 minutes. You need me to come back tonight, motivate the night crew? But I started to really understand something. You need to understand something when you're selling real estate. Money only changes hands when problems are solved. The bigger the problem, the more money you make to solve it. You can solve a $179,000 problem, or you can solve a $1.4 million problem. Still the same problem. What are the problems in real estate that you're solving every day? I don't like the size of my yard. I don't like my crazy neighbor. I don't like the master bathroom. I don't like the school my kids go to. My house is too big. My house is too small. I just had another kid. These are problems, right? When a person has a problem, they go out looking for another person to solve that problem. The person who has positioned themselves as the expert at solving that problem is the one they call. But that's not always true in real estate. You know why? Let me give you a stat, and I'm going to show you some stats today that are going to blow your mind. So I already learned one thing, that if you don't learn anything else the rest of this time, we already learned that every transaction should be worth what? 5.7 referrals. Anybody getting 5.7 referrals out of every transaction right now? Very few people are, right? Are you getting 3 out of every transaction? We also learned that 98% of agents never do what? Never call a person back after they put them in a home. Average person is going to buy 4 to 6 homes over their lifetime. I'm 41. I've already bought my 4th home. And every one of them got bigger. You understand? Which means the commissions got bigger. Everybody follow me? Okay? Here's the stat that blows my mind. 67% of people in real estate do not use the best real estate agent, the best looking real estate agent, the most experienced real estate agent. You know which one they use? The very first one they talk to. This is both good and bad for your profession. Right or wrong? So speed to lead is very, very critical. Would you agree? Because they don't use the best one. They use the first one. Now, the only reason they do that is because they think in their mind that real estate agents are commodities. And a commodity means I can get an agent anywhere. So why do I need you? Everybody follow me. Okay? So these are problems. So speed is critical. So what I look at is how do we solve all these problems for you in real estate? So 25, I write that book. I keep going. I finally beat Coach Insel. I finally win a championship. And I walked in at 31 and I said, I'm out of here. I'm retiring. at 31. I retired at the peak of my coaching career because I was tired, burned out, and I'd worked 80 hours a week for 12 straight years. I used to work 8 hours a day on Sunday. I'd get up and go to church, and I'd go straight to my office and work for 8 hours. You work 80 hours a week for 12 years as hard as you can possibly go. I didn't see my family. I didn't see my friends. I didn't see nobody. I sacrificed everything to be a championship coach. You follow me here? So at 31 years old, I retire, and I say, I'm going to start a coaching business. This was in 08, 09. See how smart I was? Started a business right in the middle of the recession. Right? I didn't even know any better.
That's confidence.
Yeah. Naive confidence. But here's what's interesting. There was something going on in 08, 09 that you would know about. What was that? Right in the middle of the housing recession. So I'm out there trying to grow my business and speak, and the largest independent home builder in Tennessee saw me speak. And he said, I don't know what it is you got, but man, we desperately need some of it. He said, we are depressed. We are borderline bankrupt. I'm laying people off left and right, and I don't even have a plan to get out of this mess that we're in, okay? Can you come help us? So I went in for 2 years, and I coached the biggest home builder in Tennessee. When you coach the biggest home builder in Tennessee, who was worth $50 million at the time I was coaching him, you know what you learn? You learn a lot about building houses. You learn a lot about marketing houses. You learn a lot about how to drive traffic to a house. You understand what I'm saying? Because I was coaching him and his agents. So then I picked up the biggest home builder in North Carolina. And when I start coaching these big home builders, guess who comes next? Real estate agents. And then guess who comes after the real estate agents? Mortgage originators. And guess who comes after mortgage originators? Title people and insurance. So I have coached all of those people for the last 10 years. I did not pick the real estate market, it picked me. So now 80% of my clients are real estate. Real estate agents, mortgage originators, insurance. So I have learned a lot about how to coach real estate agents. And I buy and sell millions of dollars of real estate. Short term, long term. I'm building a $2 million building right now for a new greatness factory. And I bring a fresh perspective as a coach. I do not tell you to do what other coaches tell you to do. Okay? I don't drink the Kool-Aid. I come at this from a perspective like this. You are a business owner. Do you agree with that? Yes or no? You are not a realtor. You are an entrepreneur, and entrepreneurs only get paid when they do what? When they produce. You are building a business, not just being a realtor. There are thousands and thousands of realtors. You have got to think like a business person. So I coach my agents like they're entrepreneurs. They're trying to build a successful business. They're trying to drive revenue. They're looking at their expenses. They're paying their taxes. They've got money left over. They've got excess cash to reinvest. So what I bring are systems, process, and structures, okay? So I'm going to show you 4 areas that I think agents are losing money. Now, why would I show you where you're losing money? Why would I show you that first? This is a great negotiating tactic too. People are always more motivated by what they'll lose than what they'll gain. They're always more motivated by what they'll lose than what they'll gain. So let's say you go out and show a house today and they really like it. You need to use these phrases. It seems like you love this house. When you say it seems like, that gets people talking. Seems like you love everything about this house except the master bath. Is that right? Seems like you love this house. It seems like gets a person talking. Seems like the only thing holding you back is the price. Is that right? It seems like. You understand? Okay? So when you're talking to people, this is very, very critical. Well, your brain is motivated to focus more on what you'll lose than what you'll gain. Everybody is always more focused on what they'll lose than what they'll gain. So if Mike's looking at a house, okay, and he tells me he's got to think about it, sleep on it, pray about it. I have had a person said I need to medicate on it. That's a new one. I hadn't heard that one. If I don't care what kind of objection, I don't know what kind of objection he gives me, I'm going to show you how to overcome that objection today with the steps I use. But one of the things I would always say is, how would you feel, Mike, if I had to call you tomorrow morning and tell you that somebody else had signed a contract on this house? Because, boy, I don't want to make that phone call. It's my job to protect your interests. And here's what I know. If you understand basic economics, there is more demand right now than there is supply, which means when a house goes on the market, it sells fast. Now, it seems like you love this house, and if you want it, right, then we need to take action on it. How would you feel if I had to call you tomorrow and tell you I couldn't get it for you? Wouldn't it be bad? Oh, my wife would have a fit if we don't get this house. You understand what I'm saying? So how is a much better phrase than why. Why puts a person in a defensive position. Why wouldn't you take action? Why are you moving out of the current house light? Why don't you like this? Now I got to defend myself. Now when I have to defend myself, you and I are not allies, we're adversaries. Everybody follow me here? How is what you want to say, okay? So I'm going to show you 4 areas I think agents are losing money. Now the reason I show you this is because if I can show you where you're losing money, you're going to come to your own conclusion that there's lots of areas in the cycle that you can get much better at, okay? So we're going to draw this up. So number 1, we're going to start up here with what's called created opportunity. And I want you to draw this up because we're going to let you talk about it with each other. Now, created opportunity, let me give you another word that you may call this. You may call this a lead. Now, why would I say a lead is a created opportunity? Because I want you to get out of your mind that you are entitled to anything. None of us are entitled to anything. You ever understand what I'm saying? Okay, so I tell my salespeople on my team, I can give you leads. I can go out and speak. I can write books. I can be on television. I can give you leads. But does that really teach you how to sell? And once you know how to sell, that is a skill we'll take with you the rest of your life. If you had to give your kid one skill, would one of those skills, top 5 skills, not be the ability to sell something? Yes or no? Because once you can sell something, you will always be valuable in the world. You will never lack for money if you know how to sell. This is a very important skill to learn. So I say, don't get in the mindset of being entitled to something like I'm going to hand you leads and you're going to work them. This is why real estate agents get a bad name of being order takers. Everybody with me? Because you didn't create the opportunity. You create opportunity. Why? Money changes hands when? When problems are solved. So guess what I do? I go out and I find what? And they're everywhere, aren't they? I just talk to people. And they tell me, well, I don't like where I live. Well, I don't like this. Well, I don't like that. And, you know, Rand Paul's neighbor attacked him on his lawnmower. And you understand what I'm saying? Everybody's got problems. That's opportunities. Where there's fear and insecurity, there's always opportunity. Anybody know who said that? Warren Buffett. Where there's fear and insecurity, there's always opportunity. Because you are bringing a level of certainty to a person who does not have certainty. Does that make sense? Now, I want you to think about this. The first problem I had in real estate is when I was 20, 21 years old, I lived in a real crappy apartment complex. Any of y'all started in a real crappy apartment complex? I actually thought I was doing something good. I told my mom, I said, I'm out of here, Mama. And I moved down to the crappiest apartment complex in Rutherford County. Colony House, that was the name of it. And I'm in college, and this is all good while I'm in college, but then when I get the head coaching job and I'm 21 years old, now I got a real job, and I got to get up early every morning, and I got a problem. And you know why I have a problem? Because the person who's living on top of me is running some kind of business, and it happens late at night, and there's lots of music. Okay, now you go do your own, you come to your own conclusion about what it is. And I'm like, man, I got to get up in the morning. I got to get up in the morning. What's my problem? I need to go do what? Buy a house. So guess what I do? What do the stats say I did? Which real estate agent did I use? I talked to one friend and I said, man, I'd like to have a little condo because I got a problem. I need my privacy and I need to be able to go to bed at night because I got a full-time job. Who do you think I should use? And he said, call this guy. I didn't ask, was he good? How many years he been in business? Is he a good negotiator? Can he regulate my emotion? You know what I did? I just called him and said, I'd like to have a little condo. You see that? I did exactly what the stats said. I used the very first person I talked to. And he put me in a $119,000 condo. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Okay? But then I start growing a little bit. And then I say, you know what? I've kind of outgrown this little condo. Now I've got a new problem. I'd like to have my own real house. Everybody follow me? And so now it's like, well, who do I use? Do I go back to the first guy? Nope, because he wasn't very good. And you know what else he didn't do? He didn't follow up with me. 98% of agents never call a customer back once they put him in a home. I never heard from him. And if I did hear from him, he sent me little drips. Like he would send me an email that said, this is the absorption rate of your subdivision. Do you think a 23-year-old knows what absorption rate means? I'm like, what is absorption rate? What's that mean? He would send me a pumpkin on Halloween. Courtesy of your local real estate agent, right? And I'm like, man, Yeah, he sent me all this crap. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all, okay? And none of that crap ever got me to want to call him back. You follow me? What he should have done is, hey, Coach Burt, how's it going in that condo? See, I teach my agents, buyer's remorse kicks in 30 seconds after a person signs the papers. You know that, right? Because I'm scared. If you're a good agent, you should, number one, be there. You should call them the day of and say, man, I'm so proud of you. You got a beautiful home. I don't care what their home looks like. You got to be, because it's their home. You understand? That $119,000 home was my home. He should have called me that day. He should have called me 2 days after. He should have called me 2 weeks after. He should have called me 2 months after. He should have found a way to stay involved in my life. And you know why? My last house appraised at over $1 million. He could have had that commission. He could have had every commission on every house I've ever bought. Everybody with me here? Not only that, he could have got all my other properties. I got a property in Gatlinburg. I got one in Florida. I bought short-term rentals. I bought long-term rentals. You understand what I'm saying? How much commission could he have made off me if he would have just hung in there with me? Does that make sense? That's never occurred to him. I see him all the time. He never comes to me and says, man, why don't you use me anymore, Coach? He never stayed in my life. We live in the same city. Does that make sense? So if you're making this mistake, you need to quit making this mistake. You need to stay involved with every person you sell a house to, unless you just don't like them at all. And I'm okay with that, because 10% of people are crazy, and that's okay. All right? You ain't gonna like them all, okay? Now, Jag, did you get that on camera? All right, good. So my point is, my first problem is I lived in an apartment, I needed a home. My second problem was I had a condo, I wanted a real house, right? Then I said I want to build a house. So I wanted to have a custom house, and I built that house. And then my fourth problem is then, after I built a custom house that was a great bachelor pad, then I got married. Now I got a new problem. You know what my new problem is? My beautiful wife comes to me one day and she says, you know, I love this house. And I know you love this house too, because you built it just for you. But now we need a house for our family. You understand what I'm saying? So we go looking for a house that's fit for our family. See how many problems I've already had through this? What if you were there solving all those problems for me? What if I was sending you those 5.7 referrals? Because my real estate agent that I use now, that is one of my closest friends, he's probably gotten 10 or 15 or 20 referrals out of me. Not just one. And these are good people buying nice houses. You understand? Like gravitates toward like. Association breeds assimilation. Broke people hang around other broke people. Right or wrong? And they commiserate about how much life sucks. Okay? Progressive people hang around other progressive people. They talk, they tell each other, right? So if you're working with great clients. So the first problem is, how are you creating opportunity? Now these are leads. How many ways should you be creating leads? We teach our agents about 10 to 12 different strategies to drive leads in the door, because I've met very few agents that said, you know what? My problem is I got so many qualified leads I can't even see straight. You know what most agents says? I don't matter how many leads we're getting, I'd like to have what? More. I'd like to have more. So the first problem they have is that you don't really have a good customer, what I call a selling system. You don't have a calculated way to go out and generate qualified leads. Everybody with me? And we all need more leads. And so one of the things we teach people is this. We teach people a selling system. Now, a selling system is a system of activity that generates leads. Now, I brought my planner. My coaching program is called Monster Producer. That's what Ruby's in. Now, Monster Producer, I invented this about 2 years ago. I have 350 people in Monster Producer that I'm coaching right now. 80% of those are real estate agents or mortgage people, right? Average return for the people I'm coaching is 43% in year one if they do what I tell them to do. Everybody with me? Okay? If they're doing what I'm practicing and teaching, then they should show a pretty significant increase in their business. Everybody with me? So this is my day today. You see how mapped out it is? Over here is time blocked. Over here are my targets that I'm going after. New money. Because lots of agents are busy all day long, but they didn't do one thing to do what? I call it too busy being fabulous. Okay? If you're not doing something every day to generate new money, new people, new money, that new money can come from a strategic partnership. That new money can come from a direct consumer. That new money can come from a current client. When's the best time to ask for referrals from your current clients? Right there in the middle of the transaction. During the transaction, you should be asking, what's the highest point of energy? Highest point of energy is in the beginning. You live with somebody long enough, you'll find something you don't like about them, right? Here's the deal. I teach my people, you should be asking for referrals all through the transaction, at the transaction, within the first 15 or 30 days after the transaction is over. You can't go back to a client you sold 7 years ago and say, I know I haven't been in your life, my bad, but I got a new coach, right? Got this little bald-headed pit bull, and he told me I should call you, and can I have a referral from you? Which is what a lot of agents do, right? So listen, I would have you asking in the beginning. So this hit list is new money. So I want you doing 3 to 5. Now this is where I differ from a lot of real estate coaches. I tell my people I need you doing 3 to 5 things a day to get new business. Could you commit to 3 to 5? Yes or no? How many people could commit to 3 to 5? You're not going to hear me say you got to make 100 phone calls a week, call a bunch of strangers, cold call people. You're not ever going to hear me say that. And you know why I would never say that? Because I'm not going to do that. I am very intentional. Everybody with me? So the way I'm here today is because we're coaching Christy Wilson. We love Christy Wilson. Everybody loves Christy Wilson because she's such a good person and good real estate person. And we're at this real producer party, and she introduces me to Mike and Lindy. And I always ask this question, if this is good for you, who else do we need to be helping? Christy says, well, you need to be helping Mike and Lindy because they're good people. You understand what I'm saying? I'm constantly asking, if this is valuable for you and we're getting an increase for your agents, who else do we need to be working with, right? So every day I got a hit list. Every day I got a farm club. These are people that have indicated interest in our services that we haven't closed. And we're going to teach you 7 touches. We're going to teach you how to go 7 times. And I wrote a book on this called $1 Million Follow-Up. Because most agents, how many times do you think most agents go on a created opportunity? The average agent goes, how many touches you think? 2. So every stat in the world tells me it takes 7 to 15 touches to convert a prospect to a client. 80% of the time. And I'm a basketball coach, so you know what I do? Well, you tell me I can win 80% of the time if I do this, guess what I do? I go 7 to 15 touches. So we teach a system, and I have it in the front of my planners, is these are all the strategies I teach my agents and how to go out and generate business. So I teach them about 10 to 12 strategies, and the reason I teach that many is because what works for me may not work for you. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to give you enough strategy that you can extract which one works for you and your personality. You follow me here? But the first problem most agents have is they don't have this. So when I go into a day, my days are already mapped out. How many agents do you think actually go into a day with a plan? This is the audience participation part.
Less than 5%.
Yeah, if that. So here's the deal. If your day is important today, if your day is important and you are a person of interest, and people are counting on you to show up and deliver the goods, and you get paid and compensated when you help other people move their ball down the field, do you think it's important we spend 7 to 15 minutes a night mapping out our day? Yes or no? Mm-hmm. I teach my agents, give me 7 minutes a night. Let's map out our day tomorrow. Let's have our hit list and our farm club ready and our next strategy, right? And I would get you doing about 4 core strategies with 2 secondaries. 4 primaries, 2 secondaries. Everybody with me? But all I want you doing is 3 to 5 things a day to get a new customer. 3 a day, 5 days a week, 15 a week, 60 a month. That's 720 things a year. So the first problem I see is most agents don't have a selling system, which means they have a very random and sporadic way about going out and generating leads and business. So what does their business look like? Good month, bad month. Good month, bad month. And I had one agent actually tell me this. He said, Coach, this is my strategy. He said, I have a really, really good month, and then I get lazy. And then I go to the lake, and I mess around, and then I have a really bad month, and then I get really pissed off. And then I go back and work real hard again. And I said, that is the dumbest strategy I have ever heard of. You got to have a bad month, right? What do you think I want you doing? Consistency. I want you working the system every day, right? Working the system. The power is in the system. The power is in the plan. The power is in the process. So the first step is they don't have a selling system. Number 2, they do not have a good 7-touch follow-up. Now, this is the stats. Don't forget these. 7 to 15 touches 80% of the time to convert a prospect to a buyer. Now, why does it take 7 to 15 touches to convert a person? Why do you think? Okay? So they may not trust you yet. What else?
May not be ready.
May not be ready. The number one reason, I want you to write these two down, that a person does not take action. There's two. They have fear and uncertainty. Okay? They're afraid of something. Fear is an unpleasant emotion created by belief that someone or something is going to create harm to me in the future. Fear breeds uncertainty. Uncertainty is ambivalence. Uncertainty is doubt. Uncertainty is vacillation. So what happened is they came in the door, they indicated interest, but they're afraid of something. So because they're afraid of something, they give you objection. Now I want you to write this down. Objection is just opposition of thought. That's all it is. And it is always driven by feeling and emotion. Okay? How many of you were on the fence about something and a really, really good sales professional who had a high level of certainty gave you enough information for you to take action, and you went not going to buy something and you ended up buying something? How many people have done that before? Right? Happens every day. See, I've got uncertainty. That's why I came to you. Because you're supposed to be what?
The expert?
An expert. So when I come to you and I say, well, I'm looking at houses, I'm looking at houses. There's 256 million people on the internet right now. Half of those people are looking at real estate deals. 125 million people are looking at real estate. Why? Any person that's ever built any wealth in their life has a portfolio of real estate. Yes or no? I'm a coach, guys. I'm not in the real estate business. How much real estate did I tell you I buy? I'm selling 2 properties right now that I bought during 08, 09, or maybe even later than that, maybe 2010, that I'm selling for $100,000 more than I bought them. I coach people for a living, but every week I'm looking at real estate deals. Everybody understand what I'm saying? If I email in and tell you I'm interested in looking at real estate, guess what? I'm interested. What do you want? What else do you want me to do? You want me to come down to the office and see you face to face and say, hey, I took the time, I took the interest, I typed my name in, I even gave you my real phone number, right? When you go on my website and we give a free download and we say, I'll give you $1 million follow-up, and you give me your name and your email address and your correct phone number, you're telling me you're at least interested enough to put the time and energy, right or wrong? My sales team should be calling those people. Because if they were that interested, you know the only reason they're not in a coaching program? We haven't given them enough information to take action. The only reason a person's not moving forward with their house is what? It ain't their fault they're not moving forward. Whose fault is it? Be honest, whose fault is it? It's your fault. That's how you got to think in selling. Like when I call a person and they don't call me back, let's say I call you, okay? What's your first name?
Bernie.
Okay, Bernie. If I call Bernie and he doesn't call me back 2 or 3 times, you know what my voicemail would be to Bernie? Bernie, this is Coach Burt, and for some reason I've not been able to get your attention, and that's not your fault, it's mine. Either I'm not interesting enough, I didn't show you how I could solve your problem better, or I hadn't given you enough information, because if I was interested enough, Bernie, and I did bring some value to you, you would call me back. See how I take total ownership of that? So here's what I do. I wouldn't just call Bernie, by the way. I'd send Bernie I'd send Bernie a text message. I'd send him a Facebook message. I'd send him a video. I'd cut him an audio. I would keep going until I got his attention. It ain't his fault he's not calling me back. It's mine. Everybody see that? I'll ask people and they'll say, oh, I tried everything to get their attention. I just can't get. I said, did you put it in video? Nope. Did you save an audio file and send it to them? Nope. Did you have somebody else call them? Nope. Did you Facebook message them? Nope. I'm like, well, you haven't done everything to get their attention. Everybody follow me here? When I say $1 million follow-up, what do I mean? I mean, you go until what? You get their attention. So what happens is, follow-up, 67% of people use the very first person that follows up with them. But here's the real problem I see it with most agents, is they don't go the distance. They don't go the distance, okay? Now, what's going to happen when I follow up is you're going to give me some objection. Objection is just what? Play along with me. There we go, opposition of thought. Get them some Mountain Dew, Mike. Or a margarita. Now, when I give you opposition of thought is a feeling. Everybody with me? That can be influenced. How many of you have ever woke up in the wrong side of the bed and had a bad attitude? Some of y'all, that's today, wasn't it? Be honest. Be honest. And you listened to one song and it totally changed your mood. Everybody got a song they listen to when they got a bad attitude? See, I was out late last night at one of my mortgage originators events at Topgolf, and I work out with a trainer at 5:30, 3 days a week, and I had to get up at 4:30 to be there with him at 5:30. And last thing I wanted to do is get up and do that after I was out with this event. You understand what I'm saying? I woke up with a bad attitude. You know what an attitude is? It's a settled or complacent way of thinking, typically shown in the body. I woke up with a bad attitude, and then I listened to my song, right? Slow Hands. Y'all know that song? And the beat of that song, it's like, wake up, get up, let's go. Got to go see my trainer. And I went with a bad attitude, and I walked out of there with a good attitude. And you know why? Because that attitude is just a feeling. Everybody follow me? So a person has an attitude about a house. I don't like this. It's not 100% of what I want. Yard's not big enough. It's just an attitude. That attitude can be changed, right? If it's the yard, so you're telling me the yard is more important than the house. Is that what you're telling me? Because I spend 95% of my time in my house and 5% in my yard. So is the yard more important to you or the house more important to you? Because it seems like you love the house, right? We can take you and the dog down to a park 5 minutes away, right? You see what I'm saying here? It's just an attitude. Good salespeople can change a mood. So when you meet opposition, here's what I want you to do. Then we're on the follow-up here. When you meet opposition, I use a formula. First thing is I listen. And I agree. I do not care what the opposition or objection is. Okay, so somebody's looking at a property and they give you opposition of thought. What are the typical oppositions they give you? Give me some of the objections you're hearing today.
Too much road noise.
Too much road noise, all right? What else?
Separate bath.
Yep, separate, that's good. Yeah, just give me, it don't matter, what are they? What are back row? What's on my back row Baptist? What do y'all got back there?
Garages.
Price. What else? Garage ain't
Too small.
too small, okay? I don't care what they tell you. The very first thing I want you to do is agree with them. I understand. There is a lot of road noise right here. That's what you need to say. Don't ever get adversarial with a person. Don't try to defend, yeah, but it's, 700 feet off the road and it's 3 hours a day. There's nobody driving on this road, and I've calculated how many cars are actually on this road. And you understand what I'm saying? Just agree with them. You're right. I can see why that'd be a concern to you. I don't care what a person gives me objection. I always agree with them. Now, why would I do that?
That's your opinion.
That's right. And here's the deal. I'm a man of faith. I believe when two people are in agreement, there's not much things that you can't do. I always get agreement when I'm selling anything. Everybody with me? So I'm never going to get adversarial with. When a person complains about something, hey, you didn't call me back fast enough, you're right. We did not call you back like we should. What I do is diffuse people. Everybody with me? When you study the brain and how the brain makes a decision, it operates out of fear. And when you get adversarial with me, that does not help you sell me anything. It hurts your cases of selling me anything. So you could say, but this is a beautiful house. The road noise is just a little bitty thing. We're already adversarial with each other. I get it. I understand. Price is too high. I get it. That is a high price. Don't have 2 bathrooms. I understand why you'd want 2 bathrooms. You see what I'm saying? That's the first thing I do is get agreement on any objection. I don't care what the objection is. Then I isolate, because this is very critical. If you're going to be good at sales, do you think you got to become good at overcoming objection? Yes or no? Yes. So I isolate, and the way I isolate is because we live in the South. Now I coach people all over the country. I went to Jersey one time a month last year, and here's what I figured out. People wake up in Jersey mad when they wake up in the morning. And they're very direct, right? And in the South, we're very sweet. And we want people to like us. So what we don't do is do anything that would create any kind of conflict. Ever. So what we don't do many times is we don't tell the truth, because we don't want to hurt another person's feelings. So because of this, when people are objecting, many times the first thing they tell you is what? It's a lie. They're lying to you. They're not lying to you because they're malicious people. They're lying to you because you seem like a real nice person and you took time on a Thursday night to show me this house. And I don't really want to tell you the truth because I don't want to hurt your feelings. You see what I'm saying? So what we do is we put up a lie or a front. I need to think about it. I need to sleep on it. Let me talk to my wife about it, right? I need to pray about it. That's what we say, but that ain't the real objection. And until you know the real objection, you cannot overcome the real objection. The objection is of fear. There's a fear of something. So the way you overcome it is you ask this question. Is there any other reason outside of the road noise that would prohibit you from moving forward on this property? See how I asked that question? Because I really think that may be the real objection. And if they balk at all, well, you know, I don't really like the price. And now we got multiple objections, don't we? So the road noise was just the first one they put up. Okay? And what I'm trying to find out, is that the real thing? So I always ask a person, is there any other reason outside of this one thing that's keeping you from moving forward on this property? No, it's just that. Now, once I isolate and find the objection, so what's the question? You need to know this. What is the question? Is there any other reason outside of this one thing you're telling me that's holding you back? Price is too high, 2-bathroom issue, right? The road noise, don't matter what they say. I understand. I agree. I can see why this would be important to you. Is there anything else that would hold you back from moving forward other than this one thing? I keep going until they tell me the truth, right? What if they say to you on road noise, well, it's really the price. Road noise is just a complaint, right? Now you got a new objection. When you get a new objection, what do?
Agreed.
You start over again. I understand. I can see why the price could be a problem for you. Is there any other reason outside of the price that would keep you from moving forward on this? No, it's really just the price, okay? Now we know the real objection because we isolated it and we put it over here. Now, after I isolate it, I'm going to validate it. And the way I validate it is I come back to them and I say, so if I could negotiate on your behalf and get this in a better price range, okay, and you feel good about this, you're telling me we go ahead and write up a contract on this house. Is that right? What I do is I take that objection, I tackle it. Okay? I tackle it. And I say, if I could show you how we could get this house at a price point similar to what you're currently paying, you're telling me we'd move forward on this and write a contract on it. Is that right? And they're either going to say yes or no. Sometimes they'll go, yes. You just show me how to solve this one problem. I'm in. Everybody with me? That's validation. And so what I do is I come back to you and I say, I rephrase it and I say, if we solve this one problem for you that you told me was an objection, we're going to move forward. Yes. Now, if they give me another objection or stall, the fifth thing I do is I challenge them. Now, people in the South are a little scared of this word. So I want to give you another definition. I reframe their thinking. How many of you have been in a situation with the buyer or a seller where they just came in with an inaccurate paradigm? That means they came to the equation with the premise that was not right. Like, here's an example. Hey, I only want to live in this one subdivision. This is the only subdivision I'm interested in. Okay, I understand why you want to live in that subdivision. It's one of the hottest subdivisions in Hendersonville. Okay, so if I could find you a house in that subdivision at the price points you want, right, in this subdivision you want, you're telling me we go ahead and move forward, right? Yeah, but it's really not 100% of what I want. So let me tell you what I challenge. I say, can't we both agree? This is the challenge. Can't we both agree that it's very seldom in life do we get 100% of what we want? If I could get you 80% of what you want at a price point you want in a subdivision you want, would you take action with me? You see how I challenge their thinking? See, they really came with an inaccurate paradigm. What was the inaccurate paradigm?
Get everything we want.
Your job is to find me 100% of what I want. I'm telling you, I would say this. I live in the house of my dreams, and it's only 80% of what I want. There's still 20% of things I'd like to have that ain't in there. Everybody agree with that, right? Well, I'd like to get $550,000 for this house. I understand. I can understand why you'd like to get $550,000 for this house. Okay, so if I couldn't get you $550, but I could get you close to $550, you're telling me you'd move forward, right? Yeah, but another agent told me they could get me $550. I understand. I understand why they would tell you that. Okay, with your permission, can I give you what 20 years of real estate experience has taught me? Yeah, well, based on everything I see, if we price this house at $550 and it sits on the market for 6 months and you lose all that forward momentum and we can't get you in the house you want, would that be a bad thing for you? See how I reframe them? What I do, the challenge is I'm making you think. You came to me thinking it was like this. What I'm doing, because you're supposed to be an expert, is making you think like this. And I'm going, I understand why you want it this way. Like the subdivision thing. I only want to live in this subdivision. Well, if I could show you another subdivision that would get you 90% of what you want at a better price point, has all the amenities this one does, would you be open to going and looking at this one too? And you know what they'll say? I didn't even know about that subdivision. Right? That's my job to know. So what I do, now, when you go through this, because you're going to hear objection every day. Can everybody agree with that? And until you become good at overcoming objection, you're never going to sell a lot. Okay? Timing's not right. What about the timing one? How would you handle that one? Timing's just not right. I'd like to wait till the spring. What about you? I like you. Give me some feedback. You. I like both of y'all. Yes. Because you're smiling and you're upbeat.
If I was to find something now that fit exactly what you were looking for, do you think you would move faster?
Good. So attack my timing. No, timing's just not right. It's almost Christmas time. Everybody's crazy at Christmas time. I'd really like to wait till the spring. Go through the cycle.
I agree with you, and usually there's more on the market at that time, but the things that are on the market now might fit what you're looking for.
Right. Now, challenge me a little bit.
Challenge
How would you challenge me?
Well, let's think about it. If you aren't thinking about making that move at this time, but the right house came up,
Okay.
you might lose out on that opportunity.
Okay.
What you're wanting.
Okay, good.
Would
So,
you be open to me calling you if that right house
Yeah.
is open?
so here's what I may say. I may say, can't we both agree that timing is never right in life? That we really create our own timing. Now, we could wait till the spring, but what if we lost 6 months of momentum? What if rates go up? What if I can't bring you the house that you really want because it seems like you really like this one? Would you be open to taking action right now if I got you? So here's what I would say. Look, you could be in that house and start your new year in January in that house. Would you like to wait till the spring or would you like to take action? Because I believe we create our own timing. Timing had to be right. I'd still be a high school girls basketball coach. Living in a condo. You understand what I'm saying? So everybody follow me here? Now, why don't real estate agents do this? Why don't they challenge people like that? So remember this, you cannot lose something you don't already have. So a reason we don't do it in the South is we don't want to push people. You know why? Because we're afraid we'll lose them. So we know we tell them, oh, whatever you want. It's not 100% of what you want. I'll show you 150 houses until we find 100% of what you want. Right? Any big time agent would never do that. Based on what you told me, I got 3 houses that are almost 100% of what you want. I got one that's this. I got one that's 95% of what you want, but it's at a little bit better price point. I got one that's in a better subdivision I'd just like for you to take a look at. I'm not going to show you 150 houses. I'm going to show you 3. Everybody with me here? You're the expert. If you came to me and said, how do I grow my business? Do you think I'd say, well, what do you think you should do? I say there's 4 areas you're losing money, okay? So what's area number 1 we're losing money? We don't have a?
Selling system.
All right, what's the second area we're losing money? Okay, so think of it this way. Created opportunity, which is leads. Leads come in the door. We explain our services. We call that the EOS. We actually teach you how to do that so you increase your close ratio. Number 3, we show you how to go a 7-touch follow-up. Okay, we show you how to do this. Number 4 we do is after the close. So once they say yes, you got a new client. From contract to close is the best time to ask for referrals. Everybody see that? Highest point of energy is where? Right here. Next highest point of energy is here. You should be asking for, who else do we need to be helping? If this has been good for you, who else do we need to be helping? So what I want to try to do is not only get you to ask for referrals here and do it much better in the first 30, 60, 90 days. When you get right here, I want you to move this relationship from a client to an advocate. And what I do is actually teach a concept to help you extract these 5.7 referrals after the close. Everybody see that? So the third place agents are missing money is they're not getting this right here. So first step, they don't have a way to create more leads. Second step, they don't have a good follow-up system. Third step, they don't know how to extract referrals is where they're losing money. Okay? And so what happened is you got to go out and sell it, and go out and sell it, and go out and sell it, and go out and sell it. Every day at your current job is an interview for what? Your next job. Who else do we need to be helping? With this is good for you, right? And then I teach a concept right here called the top 25, which is how you build 25 deep relationships that send you 3 referrals a year. So you're really getting 75 new opportunities a year out of 25 great people that not only are past clients, but they could be business associates, strategic partners. And guess what these people are doing? They're sending you great referrals. Because in my opinion, a great referral is when great people tell other great people how great you were for them. Everybody with me? Now, these 3 areas are where most agents are losing some form of money. And then the 4th area is they have not figured out how to become people of interest. And what I mean by people of interest is they have not figured out how to get more attention for their self and their brand. Money follows attention. Can you agree with that? Do you think the agents who make the most money typically get the most attention? Yes or no? Money follows energy. Money follows circulation. Money follows activity. Money does not follow stagnation. So coming to here to office and hiding out in your office and hoping somebody's going to call you is not going to work, okay? That's a secret agent. Money follows energy, okay? You can't sell a secret, okay? So you got to get out there. So I do all kinds of things to get my name out there to become known, because I believe if I didn't come today, most of you in this room would not even know who I am. And what's the probability of you doing any business with me at all if you don't know who I am? Is everybody with me here? So I get out there and go all over the world to become better known. I do podcasts, I write books, I do all these things because my philosophy is I can't help you until you know me. And it's not your job to figure out who I am. It's my job to get out there and share my message with the world. And if I were a real estate agent, I'd be doing the exact same thing. So I'm teaching my agents how to write their own books, because a book is a whole lot stronger than a business card. I'm teaching, so when you're in my coaching program, we teach you how to write books. We teach you how to do your own podcast. We teach you how to use the social media appropriately. I show you how to work a database. I show you how to get out and sell. I show you how to attack a day. I'm showing you basically how to become known and famous in the market so you're getting more leads. Everybody with me? And the more leads you're getting, the more opportunity. And I'm showing you each step of the way systematically how to break this and become world class at this whole thing. What should happen as a result of that? You should pick up deals. You should pick up deals. You should get that 40 to 43% increase I'm looking for if you're just getting better at these 4 things. What do I see the problem is in real estate is a bunch of sporadic classes that you guys get that you can't figure out how to put together. So you got a class on closing, you got a class on prospecting, you got a class on and they're all like random. You understand? What I'm bringing you is a system, and I'm going start here, go here, move through here, and if we tighten this puppy up, you're going to make a lot more money. Everybody follow me here? Okay? Now, what questions do you have for me? Do you feel like you drink water out of a fire hydrant? I only got one speed, right? And it's trying to move fast. Okay, let me close with this. I believe, let me just share with you some of my beliefs. I believe agents that have coaches, good coaches, earn 3 and 4 times the amount of money that agents that don't. Because I believe what agents are lacking or really struggle with are structure, focus, confidence, accountability. We all struggle with that. But without a great coach in our life, what we do is we end up in a defensive posture versus an offensive mobility. Does that make sense? I try to get you on offense and keep you moving. And I say, if you just do a percentage of what I'm teaching, you ain't even got to do 100% of it. If I can just get you doing 3 to 5 things a day in a systematic way, there's no way in the world. So I believe you can't see the picture when you're inside the frame. I believe everybody needs a good coach in their life. I believe people that have coaches earn 3 and 4 times the amount of money than those that don't. But I also think you need to have an affinity with your coach. So I see people get into coaching programs and they don't like their coach. They don't think the coach understands them. They don't like the energy of the coach. And it's more militant than it is anything. And it's not, you need to buy into the person coaching you. Does that make sense? Because until you buy into the messenger, you'll never buy into the message. And you need to look at people who have shown a demonstrated capacity to get other people to a higher level. The mortgage originator I was with last night is going to do $140 million of mortgage production this year. When she came to me, her goal was $60 million. And she called me last night and she said, you can now tell people you don't have a $130 million producer, you got a $140 million producer. That's a lot of mortgages. You understand what I'm saying? And when she came to me, her goal was here. And I looked at her and I said, no, with your talent, you can do a whole lot more than that. We just got to get you to the next level. So I've been her coach for 3 years now, maybe 4. And she comes and gets it and does it, and bam. She's a perfect person because she's looking, she's hungry. Does that make sense? She's got all the raw assets she needs. All I got to do is make her better. Okay? And that's my job, okay? Mike, this has been fun. Thank you. Y'all have fun?